Hi, happy Monday. How are you today? I hope you had a good weekend and hope you're not getting too hot. And of course it's really hot here in Texas. It's really humid, but let's talk about what I'm going to talk about on today's live. And if you're here, let me know. I always enjoy it when somebody has something, a good comment to say about what I'm talking about in my life. So, let me know you're here if you want to. I'd like you to, but what I'm going to talk about today, obviously it's on the description, is how your brain forms the habits. I was going to talk about how to build better habits, but I'm going to talk about that on my next one because it's quite a lot of information, so I can't cover it all on one live. So today I'm going to talk about how your brain actually forms habits, and let me know you're here. And if you catch me on the replay, give me a thumbs up or a hashtag replay, okay? So how your brain forms habits, it's pretty interesting. Whenever you encounter a new situation in life, your brain has to make a decision. How do I respond to this? The first time you come across a problem and you're not sure how to solve it, you're just trying to see what works, basically. So your brain starts coming up with ways to try and solve that problem, okay? Neurological activity in the brain is high during this period, and your brain is actually carefully analyzing the situation and making conscious decisions about how to act. And you're taking in new information and trying to make sense of it all, and the brain is busy learning the most effective course of action. That's pretty cool, right? So as habits are being created, the level of activity in the brain really decreases. Yeah, so once your brain has already created a habit and it's analyzed how to handle a certain situation, then the brain activity decreases. But while it's trying to figure out how to handle that, it increases a lot, okay? And your brain learns to lock in on the cues that predict success and tunes out everything else, okay? So I notice when I watch my lives, I say okay a lot. So I'm going to try to work on that. You probably noticed it too, I bet. Yeah, so your brain cues in that predict on things that predict success, and it tunes out everything else. So when a similar situation arises in the future, you know exactly what to look for. No longer actually having a need to analyze every angle of a certain situation. So by skipping the process of trial and error, your brain creates a mental rule. And if this, then that, basically. So these cognitive scripts can be followed automatically whenever the situation is appropriate. That's pretty cool, right? So whenever you feel stressed and you get the itch to run, which is a pretty common reaction, when you feel stressed, you just kind of want to get out of that situation. Your reaction may be to grab the video game controller and just play the video games for a while. A choice that however you handle your stress, a choice that was once required effort is now becomes automatic. okay, and a habit has been created. So however you handle stress, basically, okay? Habits are mental shortcuts, and they're learned from experience and incredible, and they're very useful to us and our brains, mainly because the conscious mind is the bottleneck of the brain, and it can only pay attention to one problem at a time. So as a result, your brain is always working to preserve your conscious attention for whatever task is most essential. That's pretty cool. So that's basically the gist of how your brain forms habits. And on my next live, which will be on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about how to actually create good habits. And that's going to be a pretty interesting one. There were a lot of detailed notes I wanted to take on that and go over that a little bit more. And I didn't really have enough time to, or I would have been coming on here later, like at 10 o'clock, and I didn't want to come on that late. So anyway, are you trying to create some good habits? Or are you trying to get rid of some bad habits? If you are, let me know. If you're wanting to try to figure out how maybe to get in some better financial habits or better working out habits, just anything. I'm going to talk about how we can do that on Wednesday. And if you catch this on the replay, again, put a hashtag replay. And I'm going to go ahead and say good night. Yes, I've been doing a lot shorter lives because I just don't think there's a need to do super long lives. And, you know, the value that I'm sharing, I don't want it to be too long and monotonous, especially since I get on here kind of late. But anyway, I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you on Wednesday, okay? Bye.